The journey continues. We are now on the fifth animated Disney film, following Dumbo, and this one is Bambi. This was a special viewing for a number of reasons. First of all, neither Aaron nor I had seen this film prior to today, so this is a first time viewing, and the other thing that made this special was that this was really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, Disney's kind of been noted for, having many, classic films in their animated library, and many some would consider to be masterpieces. And pretty much the only other movie up to this point that I've like really, really liked a lot has been Snow White. But I wouldn't call that a masterpiece. I think this is probably Disney's first masterpiece.
That is exactly what I was going to say. You said it before I did. This was a masterpiece. I must say I think this even eclipses Pinocchio for me.
This is far and away their best work up to this point. In pretty much every way, animation, music, story, and it's a pretty minimalist story, but it is there.
Man, you keep saying what I'm going to say. Yeah, minimalist is the word here. This is a minimalist film. It's not really about plot.
It's about growing up.
Yeah.
It's about life. It's about community. It's about friendship.
It's a slice of life film. It's about finding accomplishments in the seemingly small and mundane things, but are really important to creatures who are doing it for the first time ever.
Yeah. It's about change. It's about loss. It's about starting over at one point. It's about becoming old.
It's not really a plot-driven film, but yet there is a story.
Yeah.
And story's considerably more important than plot.
Very clearly a story being told. I mean, it follows Bambi, who is just born, supposedly like the prince of the woods, like the new prince. And then it just kind of follows him kind of growing up, learning how to walk, learning how to talk, becoming friends with the other woodland creatures, playing in the meadow, learning about the dangers of man.
It starts with Bambi learning to walk, and the thing that was really interesting about that to me is that the image of Bambi learning to walk and getting up on his feet for the first time is a recurring image that happens 3 times in the movie, and each time it feels like it's a new step in his development. It represents something different for him each time.
Yeah.
The first time he's literally learning to walk. The second time it's when in the snow he has to learn to walk on ice. And then the final time it happens is at the end during the climax when Bambi is shot and he's in a burning forest and he has to get up on his wobbly feet and learn to run. There's this idea that whatever obstacle life throws at you, you get up and keep going.
Yeah. So every one of them is kind of a different look at like perseverance. Yeah, so that's really well done. The characters are all very memorable and enjoyable. Thumper, his rabbit friend with the one tooth.
Yeah, Thumper, so named for his thumping foot.
Yeah, and like Flower the skunk, who doesn't really do a whole lot in the movie, but is still memorable. And a lot of what makes these characters memorable and endearing are like the vocal performances are good, but it's the animation.
Yeah, everything that makes them like stand out is told through the way they move, the way they interact with the scenes, the way they interact with each other. Just the character is all in the performance, and the performance in this case is the way they're animated.
Yeah, the animals are they walk a very fine line between realism and cartoony. Like it's really the faces that have more expression than like a real life animal does for the better. But the way they walk, the way their limbs move, the way a real animal does.
Yeah.
Very clearly, a lot of attention was paid to that kind of detail, and it really pays off. But the real standout, I think, in the animation is just the environments and the lighting.
Yeah, right from the jump, this thing is a noticeable marked improvement over Dumbo. You said in the Dumbo review that when the movie started, you immediately knew, oh god, this is going to look really cheap and I don't think I'm going to care for this. It was the exact opposite here. The first shot of the forest environment you get in this is gorgeously painted, and there's multiple layers to the animation cells as the camera pans through it.
They're pulling focus through several different layers of like cells that they've animated, and it's perfectly done. the quality of the painting and the animation work, it's almost like realistic looking,
Yeah,
but
this
it's got like a still like an animated quality to it.
yeah, this is probably the most lifelike any of the environments ever get in this film.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of other examples throughout that that just have like more of a kind of lived in realistic look, but also like the atmosphere. It has a very kind of like cozy, hazy look about it too.
Yes, which I wonder how that was accomplished. I'm pretty sure there were scenes of like fog overlaid on the characters. I don't know how they would do that back in the day.
Yeah.
Such a great emphasis is placed on the environment and the atmosphere in this one more than any of the others because careful attention is paid to shadowing, and when the characters are in darker environments their color gets darker too. They're not just one color that stays the same no matter what lighting they're in.
And they change the environments too. Like obviously the movie takes place over a period of time, mainly like the changing of seasons over like the course of a year or two.
Yeah.
So the environment's always changing too, which presents like new challenges for the artist. Like how are we going to render this, or how are we going to make this look? And just like from a filmmaking level too, the way they transition between these time periods is like really brilliantly done. A lot of it's achieved with like these musical numbers that they place in between time periods.
Yeah, I'm wondering if your favorite scene in the movie was also mine.
It's April showers, little April showers.
Yes, that scene almost made me cry.
Yeah, it's splendid. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's like Bambi and the rest of the forest like laying down for bed basically at night, and a thunderstorm, which becomes a lightning storm, emerges, and it's raining, and the animals have to run away from the lightning and the rain to get to shelter. The music is gorgeous,
Yeah.
and it transitions from rainy and thundering and lightning to drizzle, and then it becomes sunlight.
Yeah, the song has like kind of an odd tone about it. How it's kind of it sounds very hopeful and optimistic, but then it also has kind of an ominous quality to it at certain points before it kind of comes back to that like softer tone again. And again, the way the animation is integrated into the music, like with the drops
Yes.
landing on the leaves, making notes and like playing music.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this movie where the music is
The
timed.
yeah, it looked like the animation is driving the music.
Yeah. And when that little sequence was over, it was like almost 4 minutes long. I almost cried, and it was just like, man, such a return to form after the cheapness
Yeah.
and ugliness of Dumbo.
Yeah. So whenever people talk about like classic Disney and like
This is the magic I think of.
yeah, how they don't make movies like they used to anymore. It's scenes and sequences like this that is what I'm looking for and what I hope to find in every one of these movies.
Yeah, this was awe-inspiring.
Yeah. I think even today with all the movies that we've seen, I think this is one of the most spectacular things they've ever produced as an animation studio.
It's funny, I've heard this movie was good, but nobody that I've ever known ever said it was this good.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Snow White, but I've never really heard people talk about how good Bambi is. The thing you most hear about this film is that it made a lot of kids cry because Bambi's mom gets shot.
Yeah, which is one of those things that it's just like part of popular culture. It's impossible to not know that going into it.
It's something you learn through cultural osmosis.
Yeah, it still works though, and a lot of that's because of like the way it's delivered. You know, it's not like explicitly shown to the audience, and they don't dwell on it for too long. And a lot of this I think is because like the life of an animal is quick, and you kind of have to move on from things quickly. But I really like the way it's handled. It's just like she's gone, and then the wise old deer comes in. It's like she can't be there for you anymore, and that's another lesson that he has to learn to kind of grow as a character.
And then it immediately transitions into this chipper song about spring, showing you, yep, life goes on.
Yep. It's like, and spring is like the perfect way to do that because everything starts blooming again. Just very very well crafted on a narrative and like visual and music level.
It's really such a piece of art. It's such a thoughtful film in the way it's constructed.
This is also adapted from a book, which I think it's called Bambi, like a Life in the Woods or something like that. Some people, praised it for the message it was getting across in its story. Some people also saw it as like an allegory for what was going on with the Jewish people at the time and stuff like that. And you can if you can kind of see a little bit of that in the movie, just like persecution from an outside force. In this one, it's like mankind infringing on nature.
I did like that man is never shown in the movie.
You never see them.
It's like they're a force of nature in and of themselves, just a destructive force, which we are.
which actually gets you to kind of think about things a little bit, like the nature of man and their impact on animals and nature and the environment. And they do it without really explicitly stating anything or having a ton of dialogue about it. It's all very simple. And
yeah, I love how man comes into the story. Suddenly all of these creatures who are in the woods have to run. They are all in a panic and they have to get to safety. And when it's all done, Bambi says to his mother, "What happened, Mom? Why did we run?" And then she simply says, "Man was in the forest."
Yeah. Which is kind of all you really need to say. You get it.
Yeah, they want to shoot us in the head and then take photos with our corpses.
Yeah, it's...
Put it on Hinge.
Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't sound so good when you put it like that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This was spectacular.
Something that's blown my mind with films like this and with Fantasia is just how experimental they were.
Oh, yeah.
This thing felt more in common with like a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah.
It's a cinematic exercise in just taking in the environment and just sucking it in and feeling the atmosphere and living in the moment. A lot of Ghibli films are like that. It gets really creative with the visuals and the colors, especially towards the end when Bambi becomes an adult and all of the friends that he's made along the way suddenly are taken by Cupid's arrow.
Yeah.
They start becoming attracted to the female members of their respective species. And Bambi has to deal with this one asshole deer.
It's like the Back to the Future moment.
Yeah.
Where George McFly has to,
stand up to Biff.
Stand up for himself and get the girl.
Yeah, there's this one deer who just tries to steal Faylene, I think her name is, from Bambi. And Bambi has to learn to be an alpha and to stand up and to fight. And suddenly the animation just goes right into Crazy Town. They revisit some of the techniques they used in Fantasia, where characters are in the dark and they're lit only by like their silhouettes or the lighting creates the silhouette.
The edges of their characters are lit. With multicolors. You really only get their silhouettes, but you can still tell what's going on.
And the emotion of the scene is represented in the color palettes that they choose.
Yep. Everything is kind of dark, but you get splashes of color that light up the scene. And it's kind of deliberately confusing where you're not really sure who's coming out on top. And
which is true to how a real struggle would be.
Yeah.
It is confusing. It is a mess.
But you get that moment at the end where Bambi triumphs and basically becomes the wise one of the forest. He's kind of completed his arc, growing up in the woods, which is very satisfying and a good note to end on. I was a little worried when the movie kept going, like in the woods, like caught fire and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I thought the movie was about to end. And apparently there's like another 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see what they do. But they made it work. Thematically, it made sense. And it, paid off the character and ended it in a satisfying and, sensical way. But, I have no complaints about this movie at all.
Yeah, no, this is the biggest surprise so far.
Yeah, this is kind of what I wanted to get from doing this series and watching these movies. I wanted to see the magic that people saw back in the day. And I've gotten a little bit of that here and there, but this is the one that I think from start to finish just like completely had me. I think it's certainly the best effort so far. And probably one of the best Disney animated movies ever made, if I had to think it off the top of my head.
Yeah, this was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, agreed.
I got no criticisms, I think. I was invested the whole way through. This film took me to places I did not expect. It was emotionally uplifting. It was always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
animation is superior to several films that came before. Pretty much on par with Fantasia. I don't know if Fantasia inches this one out slightly, or at least the first half of Fantasia, or if this one does supersede that.
Yeah, I would say that this is better than Fantasia even. I think like the best sequences in that movie are of a similar or equal quality to this movie. But we're talking about like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And this is like 80 minutes of the highest quality that they've ever delivered.
Yeah, 69 to be exact.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another thing. This was like, what, 4 or 5 minutes longer than Dumbo? Yeah, even at its brief 69-minute length, it felt totally justified. It felt complete.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like a short film that somebody just padded out like Dumbo.
Yeah, didn't feel like you needed to do any more or, cut anything. It's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, this was excellent. Best film they've done so far, and I wonder how this will rank way towards the end of this series when we have to rank all of them.
I was going to ask what's next, but then I remembered Ichabod and Mr. Toad is next. I can't imagine that that's going to be at all comparable, mostly because it's obviously like a B team throwing together something to put on video.
Yeah. And there's a few other movies that I've seen countless times of classic Disney that I won't say what they are just yet, but I already know this is so much better.
Yeah. So, this being a classic animated Disney movie and Disney being what they are today, word has come out a little while back that this was on the slate at some point to have a live action remake. Why would you do it? And since they're probably going to do it, what are they going to do with it?
Okay, well, first of all, it's not going to be as slice of life as this one is. It's going to be far more narrative driven. It's going to have like a all-star celebrity voice acting cast. It's probably going to be packed to the brim with unfunny jokes. The romance between Bambi and Faylene is going to be like center stage.
It's not going to have any of the subtlety.
It's really cynical, but look at the track record.
Yeah, if ever there was a movie that I could not understand doing a live action remake for, it's probably this, because you can't make this any better.
No. There was lots of room for improvement with Dumbo.
Yes.
Even Snow White. This is no.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Even The Lion King, the way it was originally first pitched was like they wanted to do a nature documentary style movie. It looked like a nature documentary, but it was The Lion King. I thought that would have been a cool concept if they went all the way, like cut the dialogue, make it all visuals, maybe even get a narrator to do the story. I don't know, but that's an interesting way back into that story.
Yeah, that's too bold and ambitious.
This is like how do you change this and make it better?
You can't. You don't.
They're going to dwell on the mom's death. They're going to make that a bigger part of it, or they'll cut it all together. Who knows? Maybe they'll change it.
Yeah.
There's going to be way more dialogue, celebrity voice actors, like you said.
Yeah. We'll eat crow if we're wrong, but trust us, we won't be.
Yeah, the visuals are not going to be anywhere near as appealing to look at or as striking to look at as this. It's all downside.
Yeah.
So hopefully they just decide not to make that.
Yeah, that would be for the best.
Anything else to say on this one?
No. If you haven't seen Bambi, definitely see it. It's incredible.